Confidence is the foundation of everything we do. It shapes the way we show up in the world, how we pursue our dreams, and how we connect with others. But when you're dealing with someone who wants to destroy you, one of the first things they go after is your confidence. They don't do it all at once. It's never a loud, obvious attack. Instead, it's a slow, methodical chipping away at your sense of self, a quiet erosion that leaves you doubting your worth. At first, it might look like subtle jokes at your expense. They make little comments disguised as humor that leave you feeling uneasy. Maybe they tease you about your ideas in meetings, roll their eyes when you express excitement about something, or brush off your opinions as if they hold no weight. When you push back, they tell you you're too sensitive, that it's just a joke, that you need to learn to take criticism. But real criticism builds people up. It doesn't break them down. The goal here isn't to help you grow, it's to make you shrink. Then comes the doubt. They'll question your abilities, even in areas where you've always been strong. You might start to hear things like, "Are you sure you can handle this?" Or, "I don't think you're ready for that promotion." They plant tiny seeds of uncertainty in your mind, and over time, those seeds take root. Where you once felt capable and self-assured, you now feel hesitant, as though maybe they're right. Maybe you're not as good as you thought. Their words start shaping your inner dialogue. You replay their comments over and over, and before you know it, their voice has become your own. You start second guessing yourself in conversations. You hesitate before speaking up. You hold back your ideas because you're afraid of being dismissed. This is how they win, by making you do the work of silencing yourself. And it doesn't stop there. They make comparisons that leave you feeling like you'll never measure up. Maybe they talk about how talented someone else is, how much better, smarter, or more accomplished they are. They do it in a way that makes you feel small, like you'll never quite be enough. Over time, you begin to believe them. You see yourself through their lens, and it distorts everything. But here's what you need to know. Their attacks on your confidence have nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. People who try to tear others down are almost always battling their own insecurities. They can't handle seeing someone else stand tall, so they do everything they can to cut them down to size. Their words, their actions, their manipulation, it's all a reflection of their own fears and wounds, not a statement of your worth. The real danger isn't just that they make you doubt yourself. It's that they make you forget who you were before they came along. They make you forget the fire you once had, the boldness you used to walk with, the dreams you once chased without hesitation. That's why reclaiming your confidence isn't just about proving them wrong. It's about remembering who you are, who you've always been, and refusing to let anyone steal that from you. So if you recognize this pattern in your life, if you've been shrinking to make someone else feel bigger, it's time to take your power back. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about believing you are worthy even when someone else tries to convince you otherwise. And the truth is, you are. Always have been, always will be. Truth is the foundation of trust. It's what allows us to feel safe in our relationships, to navigate life with clarity, and to make decisions with confidence. But when you're dealing with someone who wants to destroy you, truth becomes a tool in their arsenal, a weapon they wield to manipulate, confuse, and control. They don't just lie outright. They twist the truth, bending reality until you begin to question what's real and what's not. At first, it's subtle. They may slightly alter details in a story, leaving out key information or exaggerating certain parts to shift the narrative in their favor. You notice the discrepancies, but when you bring them up, they dismiss your concerns. "That's not what I said," they insist. "You're remembering it wrong." These moments seem small at first, easy to brush off, but over time they pile up, creating a pattern that leaves you second-guessing yourself. Then comes the gaslighting, the deliberate attempt to make you doubt your own perception of reality. They'll tell you something one day and deny it the next. They'll insist they never said things you clearly remember. When confronted, they turn the tables on you. You're being dramatic, or you always overreact. Slowly, they erode your confidence in your own memory, making you feel like you're losing your grip on reality. The more you doubt yourself, the easier you are to control. They also rewrite history to suit their narrative. Suddenly, past conversations and events didn't happen the way you remember them. If they did something hurtful, they'll minimize it or act as if you're making a big deal out of nothing. They may even claim that you were the one in the wrong, flipping the script so convincingly that you find yourself apologizing for things that weren't your fault. Their ability to distort reality leaves you feeling confused, exhausted, and emotionally drained. Perhaps the most damaging part is how isolating it feels. When you try to explain what's happening to others, they don't always see it. On the surface, this person might appear charming, reasonable, even kind. They're skilled at painting themselves as the victim, making it seem like you are the one causing trouble. You begin to wonder if you're the problem, if maybe you really are overreacting, if maybe they're right. That's the power of their deception. It doesn't just distort the truth, it makes you doubt your own sanity. But here's what you need to understand. People who twist the truth aren't just trying to win an argument or save face. They're trying to control the way you see the world. They want you to rely on them for what's real and what's not. It's not about misunderstanding or miscommunication. It's about power. When someone can make you question your own judgment, they gain the upper hand in every interaction. The only way to break free is to trust yourself again. Trust your memories. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Surround yourself with people who validate your experiences, who remind you of what's true when someone else tries to warp it. Keep a record of conversations if you need to. Write things down, save messages, so you have tangible proof when they try to rewrite history. Most importantly, recognize that someone who consistently manipulates the truth is not someone who deserves access to your mind or your heart. Truth is not fragile. It does not bend or shift to fit someone's agenda, and neither should you. When you reclaim your confidence in your own perception, when you refuse to let someone else dictate your reality, you take back your power. No one has the right to control your truth. Stand in it, believe in it, and never let anyone twist it again. Success is something we all strive for in different ways. Whether it's in our careers, relationships, personal growth, or creative pursuits, we work hard to build something meaningful. But when you're dealing with someone who wants to destroy you, your success becomes a threat to them. Instead of cheering you on, they look for ways to hold you back, to dim your light, and to make sure you never rise above them. Their sabotage isn't always obvious. It's often slow, calculated, and disguised as concern or support. At first, they may act like they're on your side. They'll smile and congratulate you when you accomplish something, but if you pay attention, you'll notice the hesitation in their voice, the lack of genuine excitement in their eyes. Maybe they downplay your achievements, saying, "It's not that big of a deal," or "anyone could have done that." Instead of celebrating with you, they find ways to make your success feel smaller, less significant. Their goal is to plant seeds of doubt to make you question whether your accomplishments really matter. Then they start inserting obstacles into your path. They might give you bad advice, knowing it will steer you in the wrong direction. If you have a big opportunity coming up, they might create distractions or stir up unnecessary drama to shift your focus. If they're in a position of influence, like a boss, coworker, or mentor, they might actively block your progress, taking credit for your work, withholding important information, or discouraging others from supporting you. Their sabotage isn't just about hurting you, it's about keeping you from getting ahead of them. One of the most insidious ways they sabotage you is through emotional manipulation. They might make you feel guilty for chasing your dreams, saying things like, "You've changed," or "You don't have time for me anymore." They frame your ambition as selfish, as if your success comes at the expense of your relationships. If they can make you feel bad about moving forward, they know you'll start holding yourself back. You begin to question whether you should be pursuing this goal, whether it's worth the strain it's causing. That doubt, that's exactly what they want. And if their subtle tactics don't work, they may escalate their efforts. They might spread rumors about you, create conflict with people who could help you, or set you up for failure. They know that sometimes the easiest way to stop someone from succeeding is to turn others against them. They manipulate the narrative, making you look unreliable, arrogant, or undeserving of your success. By the time you realize what's happening, they've already poisoned the well, making it harder for you to find the support you need. What makes this kind of sabotage so painful is that it often comes from people you trust. Friends, family members, coworkers, or even romantic partners. You expect competition from strangers, but when someone close to you actively tries to block your success, it cuts deeper. You start to wonder why someone who claims to care about you would want to see you fail. But the truth is, their actions have nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own insecurities. Your success reminds them of their own shortcomings, and instead of working on themselves, they'd rather bring you down. The most dangerous thing about this kind of sabotage is that it can make you start self-sabotaging. When someone repeatedly undermines your confidence, questions your abilities, or throws obstacles in your way, you begin to internalize their negativity. You might start procrastinating, turning down opportunities, or convincing yourself that you're not capable of achieving your dreams. And that's exactly what they want. They don't just want to slow you down. They want to make you stop believing in yourself altogether. But here's what they don't realize. True success isn't just about talent or opportunities. It's about resilience. People who try to sabotage you are betting on your weakness, but they underestimate your strength. You can overcome their manipulation. You can keep moving forward even when they try to pull you back. The key is to recognize the sabotage for what it is and refuse to let it dictate your future. Your success is yours, and no one has the power to take it away unless you let them. Keep going, keep building, and most importantly, don't let anyone make you small just because they're afraid of how big you can be. Isolation is one of the most powerful tools of someone who wants to control and destroy you. They know that as long as you have people in your corner, friends, family, mentors, and supporters, you will have strength, perspective, and a sense of self that they cannot easily break. So they work to cut you off from those sources of love and support, not all at once, but gradually, in ways that seem almost reasonable at first. Before you know it, you're standing alone, wondering how you got there, feeling trapped with no one to turn to. It usually starts with subtle criticisms about the people in your life. I don't think your friend really has your best interests at heart, they might say. Or, have you noticed how your family always puts you down? They present themselves as the only one who truly understands you, the only one who sees how others are mistreating you. They plant doubts in your mind, making you second guess your relationship. And because they frame it as concern, you start to believe them. Once the seed of doubt is planted, they begin to create conflict. They might start small, making negative comments about your loved ones or finding faults in the way they treat you. Then they escalate, twisting words and creating drama where there was none. Maybe they tell you a friend said something hurtful about you, even if they didn't, or that your family doesn't respect you. They stir up tension, making interactions with others feel strained and uncomfortable. Over time, you start to pull away, believing it's your own choice, but it isn't. Next, they make themselves the center of your world. They demand more and more of your time, insisting that they need you. They guilt trip you for spending time with others, saying things like, I just don't feel like you prioritize me, or I guess I'm not as important to you as your other friends. If they're a romantic partner, they may frame it as love, saying, I just want to be with you all the time. If they're a boss or mentor, they might make you feel like your career depends on keeping them happy. Slowly, your world shrinks until they're the only constant in your life. At some point, they begin actively interfering in your relationships. They might start arguments with your loved ones, say or do things to make them uncomfortable, or even spread lies to turn people against you. Maybe they tell your friends that you've been talking badly about them. Maybe they make your family feel unwelcome when they visit. They want your loved ones to pull away from you so that when you look around, all you see is them. And if anyone tries to warn you about what's happening, they find a way to make you doubt them. They're just jealous of what we have, they'll say. Or they don't really know what's best for you. They convince you that the people who truly care about you are actually the ones trying to hold you back. And because you're already feeling distance from those relationships, it becomes easier to believe them. As your support system disappears, your sense of reality starts to shift. You no longer have an outside perspective to remind you of who you are or to validate your feelings. You only have them, and they control the narrative. If they say you're overreacting, you believe them. If they say you're not good enough, you accept it. Without the voices of your friends and family, their voice becomes the loudest and eventually the only one you hear. The longer you stay in this cycle, the harder it becomes to leave. Isolation creates dependence. You start to feel like you need them because they're the only one left. Even if they treat you poorly, even if something in your gut tells you this isn't right, you're afraid to walk away because you don't know where to go. The thought of reaching back out to the people you've lost feels overwhelming. What if they don't want you back? What if it's too late? That's exactly what they want you to believe. But here's the truth. It's never too late to rebuild. The people who truly love you never stopped caring. They may be hurt, they may be confused about what happened, but they will always want to see you safe, happy, and free. All it takes is one step, one conversation, one moment of courage to start reconnecting. It won't be easy. Breaking out of isolation takes time. But every effort you make toward rebuilding your support system is a step toward reclaiming your life. And when you do, you'll start to see things clearly again. You'll realize how much of yourself you lost in the isolation. You'll remember what it feels like to be loved without conditions, to be supported without manipulation. You'll feel the weight of loneliness lift, replaced by the warmth of true connection. And most importantly, you'll understand that the person who isolated you was never protecting you. They were only protecting their control over you. The best way to fight isolation is to reach out. Even if you feel ashamed, even if you don't know what to say, just start. Send a message, make a call, show up. Let the people who love you remind you of who you are. Because the truth is, you were never meant to do this life alone. You were never meant to be kept in a cage of someone else's making. You are worthy of deep, genuine relationships, of friendships that lift you up, of a life filled with connection and love. So if someone is trying to cut you off from the world, see it for what it is, a tactic to control and break you. Don't let them win. Push back. Fight for your freedom. And most of all, never forget, you are never as alone as they want you to believe. Energy is one of the most valuable resources we have. It fuels our passion, our creativity, our ability to love and connect. When we are surrounded by people who uplift us, we feel energized, inspired, and capable of facing whatever challenges come our way. But when we are dealing with someone who wants to destroy us, the opposite happen. They don't just take up space in our lives, they consume our emotional, mental, and even physical energy until we are left exhausted, depleted, and unable to recognize ourselves. At first, it might not be obvious. You may just feel unusually tired after being around them, as if every interaction leaves you drained rather than fulfilled. They demand constant attention, constantly turning conversations back to themselves, unloading their problems onto you without ever offering support in return. If you bring up your own struggles, they either dismiss them, make them about themselves, or minimize them. You walk away from these interactions feeling unseen, unheard, and utterly spent. Then they begin to pull you into their chaos. Every day brings a new crisis, some drama at work, an issue with a friend, a problem they need your help solving. And because you care, because you want to be a good friend, partner, or family member, you step in, you listen, you offer advice, you give them your time and energy, believing that maybe this time They'll take it to heart that maybe they'll change, but they never do. The same patterns repeat, and no matter how much you give, it's never enough. These people don't just drain your energy, they steal it. They take the best parts of you, your kindness, your empathy, your willingness to help, and twist them into something they can exploit. They make you feel responsible for their happiness, their problems, their lives. And when you're exhausted from carrying that weight, they don't offer support or gratitude. Instead, they make you feel guilty for not doing more. You don't care about me, they might say, or I guess I just have to handle everything on my own. And so you keep giving and they keep taking. It's not just emotional exhaustion, it's mental too. They make you second guess yourself, replaying conversations in your head, wondering if you said or did something wrong. They contradict themselves, tell half-truths, or twist reality in ways that leave you questioning what's real. This kind of manipulation wears you down, making it harder to trust your own instincts, harder to see things clearly. You find yourself constantly on edge, walking on eggshells, trying to anticipate their moods so you don't set them off. And let's not forget the physical toll. Stress like this isn't just in your head, it affects your body. You might notice headaches, fatigue, trouble sleeping, your appetite changes. Maybe you start getting sick more often because your immune system is worn down. Emotional exhaustion turns into physical exhaustion, and before you know it, you feel like a shell of the person you used to be. You can't focus the way you used to. Your motivation disappears. Even things that once brought you joy start to feel like a chore. One of the most dangerous things about energy draining people is that they make you believe this is normal. They condition you to think that relationships should feel exhausting, that being constantly depleted is just the cost of love, friendship, or loyalty. They make you feel like if you were stronger, kinder, or more patient, you wouldn't be so drained. But here's the truth. Relationships aren't supposed to leave you feeling empty. The right people pour into you as much as you pour into them. So why do they do this? Because as long as you're exhausted, you're easier to control. When you're drained, you don't have the energy to set boundaries. You don't have the strength to challenge them or walk away. You become dependent on them, too tired to reach out to healthier relationships, too depleted to fight for yourself. This is how they keep you stuck. Breaking free from an energy draining person starts with recognizing what's happening. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with them. Are you constantly exhausted? Do you feel anxious, guilty, or weighed down by their presence? Do you dread seeing their name pop up on your phone? These are all signs that someone is feeding off your energy rather than giving back to you. Then you have to take your power back. That means setting boundaries, real, firm, unapologetic boundaries. It means saying no when they demand your time and attention, refusing to engage in their drama, and no longer allowing them to dictate how you feel. It won't be easy. They will resist, guilt trip, and try to manipulate you into falling back into old patterns. But the more you stand your ground, the more you'll start to feel your energy return. And as you regain your strength, you'll start to notice something incredible. Life feels lighter. Colors seem brighter. You laugh more. You feel yourself again, free from the emotional weight you've been carrying for so long. You'll realize that real love, real friendship, real connection doesn't take everything from you. It adds to your life. And once you experience that, you'll never let anyone drain you again. So if someone is leaving you exhausted, depleted, and running on empty, pay attention. That's not love. That's not friendship. That's control. And you are worth more than that. Protect your energy, guard your heart, and most of all, never forget, you are not here to be someone else's power source. You are here to shine, to thrive, and to live fully.